spread. It's the largest living organism on Earth is in Utah because an aspen tree is not really one tree. The whole grove is a clone of the same tree that's all spread by the roots. So you'll go to an area and all the aspens will be yellow, but next to them there'll be some that are orange. Those are different trees.
Where exactly is this place?
It's somewhere in Utah. I've never gone to it. I've just always wanted to see it. I know we drove out to Utah before too to see our daughter.
We've been to those national parks, but
we just went to the national parks.
Yeah, and we saw some pretty stuff, but I don't know if we saw it because I didn't go there on purpose to see it. But you know, it is definitely considered the largest individual living organism on Earth.
We have some trees in India called banyan trees.
Those are cool.
Those are the roots, they come from branches and they get hold. And they just spread. They have one in the city that we grew up. Chennai, it's massive. It's a huge area. It's considered a heritage.
We saw some in Florida. There was a place where the Firestones would go in the winter. It was right next to a museum about a circus that we went to, and they had a bunch of banyan trees there. They were neat.
It's popular because Buddha was under the banyan tree. He meditated under the banyan tree.
Do what?
Buddha.
I'm sorry?
Buddha.
Buddha, yeah.
Yeah, Buddha. It's supposed to be a holy tree.
I'm looking up at the power lines because it's unusual. This area has one of the only DC interconnects in the United States. They actually have an area of Washington State that connects all the way down to LA, but it's not. This is three-phase power.
All right, all of you. I left somebody out of it.
So when you have high-power transmission lines, it's always three-phase generally. So you see three wires: the top one with the insulator, the second one, the third one down on both sides. So that's three-phase. But now next to it, it's three-phase, three big insulators. The DC ones, they don't have very many long DC lines. But, all right, so you have the Eastern Interconnect, the Western Interconnect. They've got one in Texas. But where those things touch, you either have to have a variable frequency transformer or a DC, AC to DC, AC to DC, and then the DC can connect. Otherwise, they'll fight each other. So it's super important because there's only 7 places or so that they connect. There's one at, it's in Spanish, it means in English, three friends, tres amigos. In New Mexico is a super connection point. There's only a couple places where they all touch. Super important to keep the grid stable.
There should be a better way of transmitting electricity because we lose 90% of what we generate.
Enjoy, you guys. Thank you.
Well, they had a good way with Tesla, but Westinghouse quit funding him because he asked him, he was going to use a Tesla coil. Where do we hook the meter? He goes, we don't. We give it away for free. And then that was the end of his funding. That was not what Westinghouse wanted.
We give it away for free. Look at those trees, are beautiful.
Which ones up there?
The tall,
They have superconductors.
Yeah.
We would save a ton of electricity. We wouldn't have any electricity problem at all from just what we generate right now.
We won't have any electricity. Oh, if they use superconductors, yeah.
Superconductors. You lose them. They say 90%.
All right,
Look right there.
Oh, look at that.
I did take your order. Oh, 3. So you are going to have that quesadilla. However you ordered it first.
What? We're just later. You should go close.
Wow.
Nice superconductor.
nothing but the scenery.
Yeah.
It's hard to do this without getting a bunch of reflection from the windows.
Yeah.
Just strictly beautiful.
I enjoyed this part.
Are you finding, as a physician, that you're using more AI?
Yes. Yeah. It's changed from when I started. More automation, more. Yeah.
On the way out, I was reading a book where artificial intelligence took over the world. Meanwhile, and it was because of an email program that they gave the ability to write its own emails and convince people, like with convincing arguments, and then it took over. But meanwhile, I was using AI to write a children's book to draw pictures that I can't draw.
That's just beautiful.
That's nice. I'd like to go fishing down there.
It would be cold.
I wonder if we can do it.
When did you do it? 23 years
Are you all done, sir?
Yes. Where at? Which facility?
Well, let's see if this works. We're in the mountains of Washington, approaching Seattle. We just passed Leavenworth a little while ago. Some really tall trees that look like they're aspen, but I don't know if they're aspen or birch. Pretty mountains up there. We're in the dining car now. There's no sightseer car anymore. We took it off.
Thank you.
Hey Tina, grab this. Thank you. And it ran out of connection.
Just enjoy it.
So I'm saying this part is so nice.
Oh, it sure is.
But I'm glad at least.
I'm glad they're not hurrying us along.
Me too.
You were at Bradley Ferries? Is that what I just heard him say?
Lots of
The
snow.
ferries?
No, I'm a ship captain. But
Awesome.
party boats. Also,
What time does
I
it
do
go back?
freelance stuff, so I drive a lot of yachts.
What time do you know what time it goes back?
It goes back.
Today.
I don't.
I think around 4:30.
They buy their boat, they're like,
So we should be reaching here around.
they're like, I will take, yeah, they don't, most of like, all good, they call me and they're like, all right,
We should be able to see this spot.
Drive a boat.
how do you do
I mean,
it?
how often?
Usually I walk up there, I look at everything.
So you'd never see Montana during daylight, even on the return journey?
You don't what?
I think on the
Oh,
return
I
journey,
heard on the return you do see the mountains.
Montana.
Montana.
Yeah, the mountains in Montana. If
So
you're on the
early in
way,
the morning.
yeah, on the way out, going west, from what I read, oh, that's pretty. You don't see it, but on the way in, you do.
Hey dudes, we're going on a fucking yacht for 4 days. Let's go.
This is a little bit like the Durango to Silverton. This here, but
I saw
on
the
it,
train when we were there, but we didn't take it.
you go by the Animas River,
Most of the time they're pretty.
which is
Cruise on new ship.
the longer name in Spanish is the River of Lost Souls. That's pretty. But we went to Durango and rode our bikes. There's a bike path that goes right along the river.
Very nice.
We liked it so much we went back the next day.
And then we went back again. We did it 3 times.
In the train?
No.
No, on the bike.
We had met a man from New Mexico years ago. We sold a light and shipped it to him, and him and my wife became pen pals. And then she came to Missouri. Her father was a B-52 pilot. His wife and her father, came to Missouri.
It's the one you don't want to
So we get on this boat.
Holy cow, that's
And
just
they
so
invited
pretty.
us out to there, so we would go with them in Colorado year after year and go on vacation. Wow, they got at least 3 feet of snow here.
So this is what I like. The snow on the tree.
Yeah.
So pretty.
135 feet.
Yeah, big. In Lake Union with all this like thousands of
The contrast.
Yes.
And I drove this thing all the way down the canal. And then the steering goes out. The steering went out. Yeah, it was so right. The steering went out, and then I'm running on one motor. I'm using the wind in one motor to kind of jockey it around. And so I get down the way, and then like I'm like kind of like freaking out. Just looking at it, it's like I'm like, what the fuck is this guy? I thought I was gonna shit my pants. I'm like,
So if you book a round trip, is it cheaper or it's the same? If you
I can only guess.
I'm like, I can do it all by myself anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know, because on mine, even though we're going out on one train and coming back with they called it a round trip. And it was a round trip before out and back, but it was still cheaper to do a big circle than it was to do just out and back on the same line. But you know, if this Amtrak Guest Rewards, you don't have to have the MasterCard to use it. You can go join, and if you joined now, you might even get points for this train trip if you just bought it. You could at least call them and ask them. They have little signs for it around on the train.
maybe you can do that. You're going?
But if you join it,
I know. The last time I didn't get any points. Maybe at that time, maybe I didn't.
every train you go on, there's all these old telegraph lines. You know, you see these lines down. They used to talk to each other and say where the train was on a telegraph once upon a time. And when they were first communicating, before they had radios, you know, the train just passed.
Through this.
But every train you ride on, there's always those lines.
I need to check it off the list.
You should. Check it out the list.
So what time of the year you took the California Zephyr?
I want to do it.
Winter.
We took it in.
Oh, in spring.
Oh, let them try.
No, we took it in winter, and then we took it in.
It might have been a winter too.
Remember?
When we went through the mountains, was it snowy? Yeah, it was. Well, winter and winter. You know, because in the summer, they have all those fires. And sometimes the track closes down. And there was a time when we're on that group, the Friends of the Zephyr. There was a landslide that took out the tracks. There was
You want to avoid.
one time there was a bridge that caught on fire in a big forest fire, and the train goes across it. And then there was also, because of all the fires, the train line, the Zephyr wasn't affected, but all the other traffic got rerouted onto the Zephyr's tracks. So there's the tracks that they use. So there was a lot of
So I
freight
think
trains.
spring is a better time, or fall.
Yeah. Fall would be great. You know, go around October and see all the aspens.
Yeah, well,
But fall again, we don't know if there's fire in summer, then everything will be closed.
right. We've gone to Colorado a
I think
couple of
so, yeah.
times. Like it's September 30th, and spent like a week, and that's when the aspens are really, really nice.
In October.
Yeah, beginning of October.
And what happens is if you're down lower, they might not be yellow. But as you go up,
We are just about less than 3 miles, maybe a couple miles from the Cascade Tunnel. 7.9 miles. That's my brain over there. He says 2.8 miles. Anyways, it's beautiful. It's a 7.9 mile tunnel. It's the longest in North America, and it takes us 15 minutes. Don't hold your breath, Rita. Enjoy, you guys.
it's funny, you see the people with the different army hats. There's a guy behind you that has one. And we were in a cave one time and waiting to go in the cave, and there was a guy with an army hat on. I went over and talked to him, and I asked him, it's kind of like military speak. I said, what's your MOS? And that's, what job did you do in the Army? He goes, I was secure communications. I said, I was secure communications. This is a very small world to repair. And he goes, I said, where'd you work? And he goes, well, I was in Frankfurt, Germany. I said, I was in Frankfurt, Germany. I said, were you at the CMDSA?
Small world. Huh?
And we worked in the same building, we worked in a bank vault. When you're in secure communications, you often work in a big bank vault because you have the launch codes for the nuclear weapons and you have the code of the day and the secure communications. So it's usually like under a general's office or something. The guy worked in the same building, just same office, different years. And
Like 10 years earlier than him.
but his hat said ASA for Army Security Agency. But when I was in, they didn't. It wasn't under the. It was under the NSA.
There's a lot of snow.
Look at the little tracks.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting
We need to see a cougar or something.
From here, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see a cougar, but I imagine they don't come by the train.
उनका जब इसमें था So I met this guy when I did my fellowship. One of the consultants.
We're getting ready to go into the tunnel.
All of the consultants, what?
I met one of the consultants who also trained in England, just like I did. And we got talking. Where did you train? He said, Dorchester Weimar. I said, I trained there too. Same thing like what happened to you.
Yeah.
It was so funny.